top, tips. Surely that's fine. Boom, shakalaka. I'm Tash, the Director of Interior Design at Lick, and my passion is helping people transform their houses into their dream homes. Welcome to the painting series with B&Q, and this episode is all on colour drenching. We've created this bedroom set at B&Q to demonstrate how to do this. Colour drenching is when you take one colour and you paint all the surfaces in it. So you can see here, we've done the ceiling, the cornice, the walls. I've included this fireplace, by the way, which you might not have in your property, but I wanted to add it in here to demonstrate how you take that colour down onto everything, including your radiator and the skirting. So I'm going to show you now how you can create this look. When you are thinking about decorating your bedroom, I really want you to think about the feeling that you want this room to have. I have chosen to show you Pink 08. This is a really nurturing colour. I've added loads of brown pigment to it, so it's perfect for colour drenching. For this scheme, I really want to encourage you to do a mood board. By getting everything down, you can feel super confident before you start decorating. I'm gonna encourage you to do a tonal drench scheme. That's where you pick one color and you play with the weight of it. So you go for a darker pink down to a lighter pink in your soft furnishings. And to finish it off, go for a warm wood texture on the floor and then a brass fixture, and that just creates a harmonious color scheme. Where this technique of decorating really comes into its own is when you don't fight against the light that your room has. So if you've got a small, dark room, a little bit like these rooms here, lean into that, go for a bolder color. It absorbs the shadow and actually it makes these rooms come to life. If your room is full of wonderful light, keep those spaces lighter, but remember, take that color on everything and it just creates a much more calming environment. So when we say color drenching, this means you are painting everything in this room in one color. Your ceiling, your walls, the radiator, and even this gorgeous fireplace. Traditionally, you would have had to have used different finishes for different surfaces, but for this room, we're going to be using our Supreme range, which is ultra flat matte and it's multi-surface, so it can go on everything. You get 40 meters square coverage in a tin. So for this space, I would always recommend 2 coats, so that's 2 tins. If there was a wall here, I would get 3 tins. So with that in mind, let's go get all of the supplies. If you guys are doing any sanding, get a dust mask just to protect your lungs, and then goggles. You don't tend to need these for your walls, but if you're painting your ceiling, trust me, you get tiny little flecks coming off. So you just want to get some goggles to protect your eyes. This is our 4-inch decorating kit. It's got the cutting in brush and a mini roller. So if you are doing your walls, your ceilings, woodwork, get one of these and it means you can use it on all of those surfaces. This is our Supreme range. It's ultra flat matte. If you've got a high traffic area, it's great because it's our most durable. Great for color drenching as well. It can go on all surfaces. So your walls, your ceiling and your woodwork, you're good to go. Now moving on to the prep work, because we are painting everything, you don't have to do much. All you need to do is tape down the floor and cover it, tape up your sockets, and then I would remove your radiator just so you can get behind it. This tape and drape is so good because it's got the masking tape applied to the dust sheet. You can just stick it along the skirting, pull the sheet, which is statically charged, so it clings to the surface, so it's not gonna flap about. And finally, you want to give everything a light sand to get rid of any lumps and bumps that you have on the walls. This has a little bit of a glossy surface to it, so you want to sand that down just so the paint can stick to it. Then get yourself a damp cloth, wipe down any of the surfaces. If you've got any cobwebs, go up into the corners and you're good to go. Time to get painting. So we've got the Pink 08. This range, by the way, is available in all of our 100 colors. You want to mix up the pigment. So you want to give it a really, really good stir. Hold on. We are then going to pour it into our pulp kettle because we're going to cut in and then we're going to roll. We are going to start with painting the ceiling first, and then we're going to work our way down, and that's just going to catch any drip marks. Get your cutting in brush. We want to go along all of the cornice. That's going to get in all of the edges. First coat, please don't be too precious. And we're just going to do a light coat, cutting in, and we're getting in all those areas that a roller can't get into. And if you've got a ceiling rose, just give this a cut in as well. If you've got one of these fluffy rollers, just get your masking tape and go around it to remove any of the excess fibers, and then you won't get any of those hairs in any of the paint. For the first coat, when we're painting the ceiling, you want to go against the light, and then your last coat is going with the light. That's so you don't see any streak marks. I've cut in around the socket, and now I'm just going to go above the skirting and below it, and then I'm going to use my mini roller and just finish it off. Just before we start rolling the walls, cut in on your window frame as well. If you've got UPVC windows, just make sure you apply a primer before you put the paint on. When you start rolling, just make sure you do this V formation. And already, I mean, you can just see the depth of pigment in this paint. When this dries, you're going to get that lovely velvety, soft look to the walls. I've just looked up and look how different the room looks. This is honestly one of my favorite painting techniques that I recommend to clients. And now I'm just going to finish off with the window frame with this mini roller. Painting your radiator, honestly, I can't emphasize enough how different it will make the room look. If you have like a cast iron radiator that you want to make a feature, totally fine. But with these more modern radiators, we want to blend them in. So just go along with your paintbrush, and we're just going to do 2 coats. Doesn't need a primer, you don't need to sand it. Honestly, it's one of the easiest things that you can do to elevate your room. You don't want drip marks going down, so just keep it nice and thin for your first coat, and then we do your second coat. It will cover up any of those little white marks that you leave. And finally, we are moving on to painting the fireplace. Now, the Lick Supreme range has a Class 1 scrub rating. You can scrub it, you can wipe it, even if you have scuffs, stains, you name it, you can get rid of them. Because you want to get into these little gaps here, use your cutting in brush again. I'd really recommend you always do 2 coats on everything. First coat is done. I waited 2 hours and I've just checked the room for any paint bubbles that you've got. I've picked up one here on the fireplace and one over there on the wall. Grab yourself a sanding block, give it a sand down. Once it's done that, give it a light wipe, and then we'll move on to the second coat. This is quite nice. Because we colour drench, there's actually not much masking tape to remove. Okay, we want to do this really gently. Don't worry, by the way, if you've got little white marks like that, you can just touch those up with a paintbrush afterwards. The room now is completely drenched in one colour. I'm now going to dress it, which is going to soften it, and it's going to bring in that tonal scheme that you're after. Oh, I absolutely love it. It is so restful in here. And one of the reasons for that is we've gone through our Supreme range, which means all of the surfaces are the same sheen level. Now, with this room, I wanted to demonstrate how to create that tonal drenching. So what you will see here is you've got 60% of the color, which is that pink tone. Now, the other 30% is where I chose a slightly lighter tone of pink, which you'll see on these curtains, and you'll pick it up on some of the soft furnishings around the room. Now, if you just left those 2 colors, the room would feel slightly flat. So you need to add a pop of color, a 10% accent. Now, I've done that with this green tone, which is complementary to pink. You'll see it in these cushions, you will see it in these plants, and it just lifts the space. So I hope you love this room as much as I do, and I can't wait for you guys to try this in your own homes. our tools and our products are listed below in the description. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'm going to encourage you to check out the others. Now hit that like and subscribe button. And thank you for joining us on our painting series, and I hope to see you all really soon.